Welcome to the Watchman Weekly End Time Expose on Bible Prophecy. Get ready for teachings that will empower you for dominion as an end time believer and equip you for the times and seasons in which we live. You are now listening to the Watchman Joseph Kabuleta.
These are the days of Elijah declaring.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you're listening to this. Welcome to the Watchman broadcast today as we continue our study on the end time, on Bible prophecy, and the times and season in which we are living in. And we are living in the end times, we are living in the last days. Last week, we had to listen to a special broadcast, and basically it was just talking about the era of technocracy, because now there's been different ages and different things drove different ages. For example, that message was saying there was the era of aristocracy, where it was about the nobles and the privileged people and the unprivileged people, then which of course was driven, but basically it was monarchy. And then there was now the theocracy, which was on religion, based on what people believe. For example, there was the Roman Empire, and also you remember that Islamic revolution, whereby you are governed based on belief system. Then there is now the democracy, which is which of the Greeks, which of course talks about one man vote, one man one vote, and it is all about the people, and people are all equal in democracy. But in that message, it was talking about that in this season we are in the season of technocracy, whereby everything is enhanced by technology, and this is exactly what the time in which we are living in. Now, to reflect it in another good perspective, when you read in the book of Daniel's chapter 2, which was the Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and in this dream, Nebuchadnezzar sees the image with the head of gold, and the chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, and its feet partly iron and partly clay. And then afterwards there was a rock that was cut, and then it struck the image of the feet of the image, and which was the iron and clay, and then it broke it into pieces. But now I want us to look at this from Bible prophecy. In terms of Daniel, from what Daniel was speaking about, Daniel was talking about that all these representations, when you read the interpretation of what Daniel was interpreting, he was talking about that he was interpreting to the king Nebuchadnezzar, that all these are actually you are the head of you are the kingdom of gold, you are that person, and after you there will be an inferior kingdom, which was represented by silver, by bronze, and by silver and then bronze, and then it will be kept on like that. But all those were representing kingdoms that will come. But this is also talking about the kingdom that will continually be in this end time, and that's why it's very important for us to study it and look at it from Bible prophecy, from that perspective of the times and season in which we are living in. But let us go to the book of Daniel chapter 2 and read from verse okay, I'll just read for you from 37 and then get to the verse which you would want to talk about. It says, "You, O king," this is the interpretation Daniel is giving to the king. It says, "You, O king, are the king of kings, for the God of heaven has given you a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. And wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field, and the birds of heaven, he has given them into your hand, and has made you ruler over them all. You are the head of gold. But after you shall arise another kingdom inferior to yours, then another, a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth." Now, he's talking about kingdoms that will rule over all the earth. When he's talking about kingdom that rule over all the earth, you should get to understand that. Because even Nebuchadnezzar, his kingdom spanned all through the earth. But of course, means that by that time it was the ruling civilization of that time. So that's why it's talking about here that a kingdom that rule over all the earth. So you see here The next is the third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. Verse 40, and the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, inasmuch as iron breaks in pieces and shatters everything. And like iron that crushes, the kingdom will break in pieces and crush all the others. Whereas you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, yet the strength of the iron shall be in it, just as you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay. Let's read verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile. Now he's talking about the last kingdom, and this is also talking about the end time, what will govern civilization in this end times, what will, so to say, rule over all the kingdom. He says that as the toes of the feet were partly iron and partly clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile. As you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay, they will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not adhere to one another, just as iron does not mix with ceramic clay. So this is now iron, we're looking at technology, and ceramic clay, we are looking at men. And that's why it says that it will be in this season, in this end time, they will try to mingle with the seed of men. They will try to now merge technology or machines with men. And with machines and men through technology. So now that's exactly what is happening in this season. We are in the season of technocracy, and this season whereby all things are driven by technology. And this is a sign that we are actually living in the end times. And that's what you should know, that when you're seeing all this technology coming up and increasingly coming up, because there was a time where things were the commodities which ruled and sustained all things. It was now the commodity of certain things like oil, there were minerals, there were guns, ivory, and there were like the leading commodities of the time, where people engaged in that to make rich, to become richer and richer. So that was now the commodities of those days. But right now, in this era of technocracy, the commodity which is much stronger and much more leading in this time is data. That's why right now the kind of data you have, you actually win, and people actually selling data. For example, you see companies like Google right now, they are the only thing, not the only thing they offer so many things, but one of their leading commodity, what they offer and what they give out to other people and what makes them get more money is data. Because the data they have with people from different people, emails and all those things, those data, they use it to categorize you and know what you want. And that's why you see ads are there. You get the kind of ads which suits you, and that's actually Google doing it. And there it's the algorithm selecting whatever you want, but also different companies buy data from them, data in terms of information from different people. So they sell their adverts to you because they know what you want. So that's a lot of thing which so many companies are involving themselves in. But you see, not only just data, but let me just talk about information, because right now the information you have sets you above. And there was a time where the era, it was like for information to change, it would take like 10 years. After 10 years, then maybe a new information comes in. Then there was a time where it took 5 years. But in these times, information is actually increasing at the pace of weeks, or even I can zero it down to days, because of now the artificial intelligence. Now you see, in artificial intelligence, it has speeded up all the rate of increase of information, because now it gathers all the information. For example, ChatGPT, you can just get something very fast because of ChatGPT, because now it's fed off with all this information. And in terms, you there was a time where it needs you to research and read to get what you want, but right now you can put in ChatGPT and get your information, the ones which you have actually been looking for, and even gives you links to, like, it is very quick, very efficient. Now that's what is happening right now. So we are seeing a lot of increase in information, in study, and it has become easy. But now the thing is, when artificial intelligence came in and it started being fostered, of course, like we've shared here, so many other mostly those global organizations that sit to meet and talk about how they should control the world, those Bilderberg meetings, the World Economic Forum, and okay, maybe even I can include UN and so many other of those organizations. But you see, those guys, they are the mind of the God of this world. What I can say, they talk about what the devil actually wants to unleash here on earth, and they look at how they can control, they can take advantage, they can make sure they get that very thing which to control the world, and of course makes the world subject. And of course their real agenda is to bring in a one world government, one world religion, and one world economic system. That is their agenda, as spoken of in the book of Revelation chapter 13. But we watch those meetings and those organizations, those summits, and look at them and what they are discussing, and we get to know where the God of this world is actually going, and how we, the children of God, should make sure we stand or look at a way we can maybe escape, but also stand alert so that we are not taken by surprise in anything which they are trying to do, and also look to the future. That is this now, what is it, the last thing? Because the last thing of it here, like the way we're reading in Daniel, it says that as I saw iron mix with ceramic clay, they will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not adhere to one another, just as iron does not mix with ceramic clay. The last thing about technology is when technology is merged with humans. That is, Daniel spoke about it also here, but Revelation also, in the book of Revelation chapter 13, that's when Revelation chapter 13 verse 16, 17 and 18 says that now men will be given a mark, and that will be the mark of the beast, and the mark which will be on their forehead or on their right hand. That is when technology has mixed. And what Daniel was saying, iron. You see, all of these are prophetic people, and these prophetic guys, Daniel lived so many years ago. John the Revelator also so many years ago, so many years ahead of Daniel. But they are just they are describing it and seeing it in their own kind of understanding and their own language. For Daniel is seeing that there will come a certain time when iron, which is a metal, will be mixed with clay, and then, as that was the vision of the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. But then he tries to interpret it. He prays and gets the interpretation. And in the interpretation, iron together with clay is saying that this clay represents the seed of man. Iron represents, of course, now I've told you, technology. And it says it will mix together at some point. But it says, as you see them, they will not try. They'll try to mix, but they will not fully mix. You see, the same way, if you get some iron right now and you put some clay, it will mix, but it will not dissolve they will not dissolve inside it. Some kind of, I'm trying to think and I'm trying to see it from that perspective. It doesn't dissolve like the way if you get if you get water and maybe another liquid, it can dissolve. But also some liquids are not soluble. They do not dissolve. but I'm trying to see it. There doesn't mix. What it was saying, it doesn't mix, because it says, just as iron does not mix with clay. So it will not mix, it will not mix, but they'll try to merge it. The same way if you get some iron, but now what these people do is they are trying to develop technology and build it to the point that it will reach that moment whereby they will mix it together with the seed of man. And Daniel speaks about it. Also, John the Revelator, John the Apostle, speaks about it. And this is not, there are also other verses which we can pick and speak about it to get what Daniel was talking about. Daniel speaks about it here in this chapter, but also in chapter 7 he also speaks about the same kind of thing. But now here, so I was telling you that right now the commodity that is very much prevalent in our time is data, and basically it's information. Whatever the information you have, you go ahead of your opponent. For example, but now you see, all this needs connectivity, because there's a time where technology, they were just building these computers and all this, but when internet came in, it speeds up the speed of developing of all this technology and all that, because now sharing information is much easier. But now we're talking about internet, but there's a certain level of internet which is required. For example, we had 4G internet, and because of 4G internet, because all these devices that we have been using for connection, for anything which we do, all these devices needs connection. And what these people want is, there was this type where we are talking about smart city, and in a smart city they want each and every single thing to be connected to the internet, and each and every single, like for example, your building is connected to the internet, the road is connected to the internet, the cars are connected to the internet, everyone moving, even you as a person, you are connected to the devices you have, they are connected to the internet. Now that smoothens a lot of movement. It smoothens everything in the city. That is the idea of the smart city, which they have been trying to build for a long time. But of course there is a restrainer, and they're not really prospering. They are not moving at the speed which they've wanted to. So because of all this, there is need for internet, a faster internet. So there has been 3G, 2G, and then there was the other LTE kind of internet. But now, by the development of 5G, which was done by China, it puts China ahead of all these things, because 5G is much faster, much faster than 4G. So that makes China ahead, because I told you here, the kind of information you have takes you, if you have an edge on the information, on knowledge, on information about something, it puts you higher than your opponent. So China goes ahead to build 5G, and they come so fast into this movement, and they build a lot. It enhances their movement in technology and all these things, and there's money there. But so because of what they do, in that they build 5G, so it enhances a lot. You remember there was this time where surveillance, you see, in the one world government, let me give you this background so that you get to understand all this, where it's headed. Technology, they wanted to control media, entertainment, control academia, which is education, control your homes, which is like family, controls politics, controls each and every kind of single thing which you think about. And all these sectors, they want it to be connected into a certain kind of a centralized system. And then even they want now not only just things to be connected to each other. There is what is called Internet of Things. Internet of Things. Now, Internet of Things is the connectivity of all these things. Each and every single thing. The chocolate you will buy from the supermarket is connected to the internet, so that when you pick it, you will not need to go to the counter to pay, because even you yourself, your digital money, your money is digital. You see, it's technology. Your money is digital, and you don't need to go to the counter, because once you pick it and you just go outside, it will deduct from your bank account, from your digital wallet, so to say. And that's why nowadays that wallet thing is coming up. So after this, then they want each and every kind of thing connected. You go to your home, you don't need to again open the door. When you are just reaching, the door opens itself. It's take. All this is take. So that's the ultimate of all this technology. They want each and every single thing to be connected to each other and can communicate to each other. When you're driving on the road, the cars connected to each other. And when you go to a restaurant, you just go and you don't need to speak out. You don't need to see the menu. You just communicate either through technology, maybe not, because even you yourself, you are connected to the internet. And that's the point of total control, where they want all technology to be connected to man. But for men, what they would want, the last thing they want is, you remember that's the mark of the beast, you'll have to put it either on there has to be something which you'll put to connect you, which will be like your kind of SIM card, so to say, on your body, which is, the Bible says it will be on your Revelation chapter 13. I'll read from verse 16. It says, "It causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads." You see? And this one says, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave. That means each and every single individual living here on earth will actually receive the mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. So that's the exact place where it says right hand or forehead. So you'll have that kind of, because all this, like I said, it will have a point of connectivity where it will be used to speak or communicate to each other. So for example, your chocolate, you bought it from you picked it from the shelf in the supermarket, and when you've picked it, it has to have some point of connectivity, maybe a QR code, or maybe, okay, right now there is QR code, but in the time to come it will be more advanced, more than even a QR code. So when you pick it, you don't need to go to the counter, you just get outside and maybe enjoy your chocolate, and automatically it will deduct. For example, if you take it, maybe you picked like 5 and say no, I need 4, and you take back 1, it will sense it and know it. For I'm meaning this is a world where we are headed to, and that's where we are moving towards, where each and every single thing is connected to each other. The connectivity. They want all things to be connected to the internet, to the global world. But for right now, we are in the stage of development, and there is now, like I said, it's being developed, and that's why if you have the better internet, which is like internet speed 5G, there was formerly 4G, but now China has brought 5G, which makes them far ahead of the West. And I told you there's this time where, for control, for example surveillance, they need to put cameras in each and every single corner of the of the road, and that camera, through that camera, they use it for surveillance, they use it to track people and all that. And that has been done in China, but also in other places, even our countries here, our African countries here. But there will be time where there will be no need of those things, because if they build a more faster, even let me say, even with this 5G or another level faster, higher than this 5G, what it will do is it can easily surveil you, because if everyone has connectivity, they will know exactly where you are, they will know where you've gone to, they will know where you've where you are seated, where you're moving to, where you're in that kind of perspective. So there will be no need of they will know where your car is. They will know, because the car has connectivity. Each and every single thing has connectivity. That is the thing. So that is what they want to bring. But I'm reading ahead. Verse 16 says, Revelation chapter 13 verse 6, it causes all both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has a mark on their right, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So this will drive buying and selling, and buying and selling is what is called, in single terms, that is the economy. Economy is driven by buying and selling of commodities. Every one of us buys and sells. That is, so that means you will not transact, you will not be valuable to any economy without having this mark, and that's the mark of the beast. But right now, like, this is not where we are. Right now, I said the world is in the stage of building all these systems, and that's the systems which will ultimately bring out the mark of the beast. And it is fast right now. It's very, very fast moving in artificial intelligence. Like, it is moving right there. Like, that's where it's through the introduction of the artificial intelligence, AI, we are moving closer and closer, because now AI is, I was reading how in movies AI is taking over in movie, both in production and in whatever kind of lifestyle there is. At least there you'll find that there's some AI controlling. In teaching, in language, AI. You remember, by the way, AI, okay, technology has to control language. The same as in the days of the book of Genesis 11. Genesis 11, that's the days of the Tower of Babel. There was one language. So we are moving right there where there will be one. Imagine that we are in all this kind of, where we are connected to each other. Because even right now, with the technology we have right now, you cannot be confused with any language right now, because you can use what is called Google, translator. Whatever translator you use, whether Google Translator, when you go to a new place, like let me say you go to China, for example. You don't know Chinese, but they'll just speak to you in you record them speaking in China and you translate it. So that means we have one language. Okay, we can translate languages, but in that time, when all these things will be achieved, there will be kind of one kind of language whereby, and that's the language of AI, like the language of artificial intelligence, the language which is enhanced by machines, by technology, and by the things which we get from them. So you can come to one point of understanding just because of AI, just because of technology. But this is the thing. Do you know that God actually is, because AI has been pumped into people, and it looks like it's invincible. But let me tell you, it is not invincible, because the hand of God is upon it. And by the way, there is going to be some shaking in that world, the world of technology. And that shaking, it is about to start, because you'll find that in education, AI is taking over. In production, AI is taking over. In media, AI is taking over. Of course, there are certain things that they cannot take over, like nature that they can't take over. But everything, research, in movies, I saw the other day they were showing how Netflix has now started to use generative AI. That means that they can generate something through AI. But also there is that which we had spoken about, agentic AI, and this agentic AI is the building some sort of like humanoid robots, and which have feelings. Humanoids, they are in form of humans. They can do what humans can do. And then there is first artificial intelligence, wisdom from wisdom of the machines, the wisdom of computers, the wisdom of outside wisdom. Now they want to bring that outside wisdom and merge it with human. That's what Daniel was saying. But there are specific things that they are trying to now involve themselves into and merge it in science, in terms of medicine, because there are times where they want to just put medicine straight to you using machines. That's what they are trying to build. But let me tell you that I was just reading in the book of Joshua, and I realized that there was the children of Israel when they were coming from Egypt to the promised land, but now they were just at the border of the promised land, and they are now starting to take over the promised land. They had to defeat Jericho. Then the next city they went to defeat was Ai. The city was called Ai. And do you know that it's not coincidence that these stories are in the Bible? Because everything that we have been having, they are in the Bible. Everything that happens here on earth, either it has a precedence on it in the Bible, and we need to know that the hand of the Lord is there. But let's first go to the book of Joshua, chapter 7. Joshua sends men from Jericho, because they are now taken over Jericho. He sends men from Jericho and sends them to go and spy. And when they spied Jericho, Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, to a city, the city of Ai, and he sends them to go and spy out the land. And they went spying the land, and when they went, they saw that, and they saw very few people, and said, no, you just send a few people and a few of us to go and attack. Don't stress all the armies of Israel to go and defeat them, to go and take over Ai. So these guys go, and when they go to take over, they were defeated by the men of Ai. The men of Israel were thoroughly chased by the men of Ai. And then, of course, they had done some. They had not. Joshua now begins to cry out to the Lord, why did this thing happen? Because before us and all this, you had promised us that you were going to give us the land. But then God told them certain things that were not happening well with them, and how they need to approach it in a better way. But let's go to chapter 8, and we read verse 1. It says that when they had now finished aligning themselves, patterning themselves in the best way pattern, then it says, now the Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid, nor be dismayed. Take all the people of war with you, arise, go up to Ai. See, I have given into your hand the king of Ai, his people, his city, and his land. Now, God is telling us in this season that He has given us AI. And because He has given us AI, that's how He wants to defeat AI. And that's how everything which is, and by the way, in this season of dominion, go into AI and actually go and take it over. When you go, you will not let it drive the world the way the wicked wants to drive the world, because all these things, it's like a knife. When it's in the right hands, it will be used to cut it will be used rightly. Like knives, when for example, if it's in the kitchen, it will be used for cutting so many of those food and all these things. But when it is in the wrong hands, it can be used to stab. Now that is like technology. When it's in the hands of the enemy, it will be used for wrongly. It will be used very, very wrongly. Now, when it's in our hands, the hands of the children of God, it will be used for the kingdom of God, and it will do good things, and it will not introduce demonic agendas, because we are of God, like the way the scripture says. So verse 2, and you shall do to Ai and its king, this is God telling Joshua, as you did to Jericho and its king. Only its spoil and its cattle you shall take as booty for yourselves. Lay an ambush for the city behind it. So Joshua arose and all the people of war to go up against Ai. And Joshua chose 30,000 mighty men of valor and sent them away by night, as he commanded them, saying, behold, you shall lie in ambush against the city and the city behind the city. Do not go very far from the city, but all of you be ready. Then I and all the people who are with me will approach the city and will come about when they come out against us as at the first, that we shall flee before them. Now that was like the previous chapter. The previous chapter, those guys had gone and they had to run away because the men of Ai were stronger. But now, this time, when Joshua he was now building that strategy to take over Ai, he says that there is a certain man behind the city, lays ambush. Then there is his team, his other people. They are going to approach the city. But when they start running away, then the other guys will come to take over the city and burn it. So, okay, let me read on. Verse 6. For they will come out after us till we have drawn them from the city. For they will say, they are fleeing before us as at the first. Therefore we will flee before them. Then you shall arise from the ambush and seize the city, for the Lord your God will deliver it into your hand. And it will be when you have taken the city that you shall set the city on fire according to the commandments of the Lord your God. See, I have according to the commandment of the Lord you shall do. See, I have commanded you. Joshua therefore sent them out. So that's how they went. I'm jumping so many verses. Let's read to verse 14. Now it happened when the king of Ai saw it, that the men of the city hurried and rose early and went out against Israel to battle, he and all his people, at an appointed place before the plain. But he did not know that there was an ambush against him behind the city. And Joshua and all Israel made as if they were beaten before them, and fled by the way of the wilderness. So all the people who were in Ai were called together to pursue them, and they pursued Joshua and were drawn away from the city. There was not a man left in Ai or Bethel who did not go out after Israel. So they left the city open and pursued Israel. So the Lord said to Joshua, stretch out the spear that is in your hand toward Ai, for I will give it into your hand. And Joshua stretched out the spear that was in his hand toward the city. So those in ambush arose quickly out of their place. They ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand, and they entered the city and took it, and hurried to set the city on fire. And when the men of Ai looked behind them, and they saw, behold, the smoke of the city ascended to heaven, so they had no power to flee this way or that way. And the people who fled to the wilderness turned back on the pursuers. Now when Joshua and all Israel saw the ambush had taken the city, and that the smoke of the city ascended, they turned back, struck down the men of Ai. Then the others came out of the city. You see, now this is how they went and took over the city of Ai and took it over. And this is how we are going to take over artificial intelligence in this end time season. Because, by the way, like I told you, that because of the developing technology, which is like it's being developed by, anyone can develop their AI technology. Anyone can. Wherever you are, you can just be in your somewhere in your room, and you have a powerful internet, a powerful server, a powerful device. You can bring out, you can create some things. But let me tell you, the truth is, those guys know that this AI should not be in the hands of anyone, because there has been a recent summit, the BRICS Summit 2025. I actually want to read this. I got their document, one of the declaration, their declaration. Each meeting when they meet, they have a final conclusion that this is what we have agreed. But let me read for you in their one of their declarations they have made. This is declaration number 16, and this is the BRICS, the BRICS summit, which happened like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. BRICS summit, which happened in Rio de Janeiro, that is in Brazil, this year, the BRICS summit 2025. They said that we recognize that artificial intelligence, AI, represents a milestone opportunity to boost development towards a more prosperous future. To achieve that goal, we underscore that global governance of AI should mitigate potential risk and address the needs of all countries, including those of the Global South. Global South, they're talking about Africa. A collective global effort is needed to establish an AI governance. Now, you see this? An AI governance. They want to make sure that there's some law or some kind of framework to guide the emerging AI, because now they know that, like what they said here, it can boost development towards a prosperous future. But because of that, there should be a global governance of AI from potential risk, to prevent it from potential risk. That's what they're talking about. I'm continuing to read from their quote. I'm quoting from them. It says that AI governance that upholds our shared values, addresses risk, build trust, and ensure broad and inclusive international collaboration and access in accordance with sovereign laws, including capacity building for developing countries, with United Nations at its core. When you see the word inclusion being used, you know that is the word they're using to drive the one world government. That is, those are some of the words they use. Sustainability. The word sustainability, inclusion, those are the words used by these people to bring in the one world government, or to bring in a new world order. But now they are talking about that there are what is called shared values. There are risks there are trust and what they call here inclusive international collaboration. That now that all those and access capacity building for developing countries. And then they said here sovereign laws. So they say that now because everyone is building from whatever country they are building, they can just jump out and work out their thing and build something stronger, something better, and maybe even better than what they have. But they are scared because now there is all these emerging AIs, the mushrooming, let me use that word, mushrooming, which the people who wanted to control churches, yes, they're called mushrooming churches. Anyway, so they says that no, there are all these emerging AIs and people are building it from wherever. I was trying to see that there was a certain man a certain boy in Namibia who built some kind of device that can call without a SIM card. It can call anywhere without a SIM card. And in Kenya, like people are trying to build and all these things. So they're saying that it needs control. It needs to be controlled, and there has to come something called AI governance. So now, what are they trying to push for? They are trying to push for something like rules, regulations, and all those things. I'm trying to continue. Let's continue reading. I'm reading from this same statement which they brought out. We agreed on BRICS leaders' statement on the global governance of artificial intelligence, which aims to foster responsible development. Responsible development. You should just underline those words, responsible, because they don't want people to build certain things beyond what they were talking about up there, the laws and sovereign laws, build trust, inclusivity, shared values, and all those things. So they're saying it has to be something that can foster responsible development, deployment, and use of AI technologies for sustainable, you see the word sustainable here again, for sustainable development and inclusive growth. You just know that, which I said, in compliance with national regulatory frameworks, the UN Charter, and respecting the sovereignty of states. So they're just talking about that. Now all these, every nation, if you're building your AI, there has to be some framework that makes you do it responsibly, which does not go against national laws, sovereignty laws, does not. You just know that that's what they're trying to bring, because now this is something that. So because all these things, these emerging technologies, is a threat, because anyone can build it. So now that's how they want to limit, and through laws, that's, it has been used to actually limit. So that's what they're trying to do. They want to use it to limit people from developing all those kind of technologies. But the thing is, the real way how it will be limited and how it will be destroyed is what happened in Joshua. How the armies of the Lord, by that time, they took over Ai, the city. I'm going to continue reading from Daniel chapter 8 verse 24. It says, and it came to pass, when Israel had made an end of slaying all the inhabitants of Ai in the field, in the wilderness where they pursued them, and when they had all fallen by the edge of the sword until they were consumed, that all the Israelites returned to Ai and struck it with the edge of the sword. So it was that all who fell that day, both men and women, were 12,000, all the people of Ai. For Joshua did not draw back his hand with which he stretched out the spear until he had utterly destroyed all the inhabitants of Ai. That is what we are going to do. But verse 28 says, so Joshua burned Ai and made it a heap forever a desolation to this day. It's only that today they want to build it in terms of technology. The city, they are building it. But verse 29 says, and the king of Ai, he hanged on a tree until evening. And as soon as the sun was down, Joshua commanded that they should take his corpse down from the tree, cast it at the entrance of the gate by the city, and raise it over the gate. Raise over it a great heap of stones that remains to this day. Now, that was those days, the days of Joshua. But now these are our days that we are going to take over. And God is calling us to take over each and every field, each and every sector. So you and I, for these guys, they took it over and took over the king and made it a desolation to this day. But you see, one of the things which is going to start happening is, which will lead to what I was reading, the quote from the statement made from the BRICS declaration of their meeting of 2025, their summit of 2025, is that technologies will start failing. And because it will start failing and failing and failing and failing, there will be now a global outcry for a control. There will be some kind of technological crisis, which is going to start coming, not very far away from today. And this crisis, it will be failure of technology. For example, there is, like I told you, they are using AI in everything, which in buying and selling. Like buying and selling, I'm talking about in every form of sector of the economy, which you have. Because the economy is driven by buying and selling. They are using, for example, in the financial sector, there is a certain guy called Larry Fink. He has created, is the CEO of this organization called BlackRock. You might have heard about it. Now, in BlackRock has an AI, and this AI, what it does is, because now for BlackRock, what BlackRock does is they manages funds, they manages money, both digital and so they manage funds for different organizations. They don't have their money, they manages those funds. But in managing, they use it for trading and in the financial markets. So what they do is they have developed an AI, and this AI studies which farm is coming up, the prospects and what it can do, and what the stocks, they manages those stocks. So they can, the AI can decide to buy the stocks of that company, because they know that in the long run, or in their, let me say, whether short run or long run, maybe whether in 6 months or whatever time frame it's better for them, the AI says that now buy this stock, and can actually execute and buys their stocks. So what happens is, you see that, and it's built on, it's very excellent, very, very, very excellent, and it has been doing it for them, and you cannot beat it. For you, maybe, if there are those guys who do stock investments and all those things, for you are still studying all the data from different companies, or maybe your stock which you want to buy and sell and invest in. You study a lot, you need to do a lot of study and all those things. But for them, for BlackRock, they just at the highest speed, it is done by their AI. Whatever you do is done by their AI, and they, it has been doing it for them. But you see, time is coming whereby now all these things, there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be that shaking, and this shaking will lead to, like, because I told you the AI, like for example of that guy, of that BlackRock company organization, it studies and it does it automatically, because it's based on some kind of algorithms that studies and does it for them. Now what will start happening very soon, from a few days from today, is that you'll begin to see all those, what those guys are doing. Like there's a shaking and there's a shift, and they start, like for those guys, their AI was has been very accurate in doing things for them. But you start seeing a lot of miscalculations and then dividends coming out from them and losses and all these things. Then you see there is a shaking. But not only in just that, but in whatever kind of AI, whether in entertainment, in media, all you'll begin to see the shaking. But the real shaking will happen when we, the children of God, actually takes it over. Because for us, we'll push it for the agenda of God, and we'll take it over for God, and will not use it for demonic agenda. We'll use it for the kingdom of God, and we'll use it to prosper and to actually preach the gospel and to take it over for God, for God to use it as a mountain, as a sphere of influence. That's what we do. But for them, they use it for their agenda, to control the world, to control the people. But these are very, very interesting days which we are living in. And you as a child of God, you need to prepare yourself. Actually, like, enter into taking over AI. As for God, for the children of God, take it over for the children of God, because we are in the days of occupying. We are occupying each and every single space for the Lord Jesus, and taking it over for the Lord Jesus. So take it over for the Lord, take it over to preach the gospel. Of course, you'll have a few benefits here and there, because it might have it, but the real ultimate agenda is to take it over because you're a child of God. These things need to be in the hands of you. It needs to be in our hands, not in the hands of the wicked. Like I said, it's like that example of a knife. A knife in the wrong hands, it can cause harm. But a knife in the best hand, it can cut something and chop it for good. Now, that's what we need to do. So I'm ending here, but I would like to invite you to come and attend the Watchman Fellowship wherever you are, you're listening. If you're around Kampala, please come and join us at the Watchman Fellowship, which is every Friday at the Watchman grounds opposite Mukwaya Hospital. Mukwaya Hospital is along Gaba Road near the American Embassy. We start every Friday at 6 p.m. in the evening, and we end at 9 p.m. Please come and join us, as the Watchman Joseph Kableta will be there, building us and teaching us all these things which we need to know as end-time believers, making us end-time believers for this season. Thank you so much for listening in. Have yourselves a lovely evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time you're listening. God bless you.
That was the Watchman Joseph Kabuleta. Join us for our Friday fellowship starting at 6 p.m. at the Watchman grounds opposite Mukwaya Hospital near the American Embassy along the main Gaba Road. To connect to the anointing upon the Watchman, you can give through the ministry mobile money lines +256 780 292 555 or +256 755 292 555. Follow us on Facebook, The Watchman, TikTok, The Watchman Ministries, YouTube, Ugandan Watchman, X at UG Watchman, Instagram at @the_UG Watchman, or email info@ugwatchman.com. For more information on how to give resources and more, visit our website at ugwatchman.com. The Watchman, the King is coming.